tasks and business. This is going to be an amazing one. We have 2 sessions, and I am just getting people on here. I'm not sure if we're streaming yet. We're trying to stream this in as many places as possible. Another guy with my name, Michael, on the team is helping us out. I think he's here. Maybe just let me know if it's streaming or not. But we are getting the people here. And yeah, so events.globalfromasia.com is where you can, people are coming in now. Events.globalfromasia.com is where you can get the information to schedule. So I am trying to keep everybody up to date. If you're enjoying this, there is a little bit of a like button. Click the like button, click the subscribe button. We are having people joining now. And it is 8 p.m. here, November 11th, 2020. 2020 years. Okay, I'm here. Let's see if we can get. Michael, if you can leave me a little chat if we're streaming or not, so I know, that'd be great. Not sure if you're able to do that. Okay, we're getting some people on. I just thought I'd put the video on so you can see me and let us know what you think. It's pretty exciting getting these back-to-back calls. Okay, Brandon's here. Okay, let me invite him up on stage. Okay, Brandon, I just sent you an invite. You should see it. Hopefully it works and you can accept my invite to come up here and we can start having our conversation. Okay, we have some others joining us. Zach will be coming. Current one. Yeah, we're getting used to all this streaming. Seem like people are watching us on Facebook right now. We're trying to put this in as many. I think it's on YouTube and Facebook right now. And we're getting Brandon on here. Brandon, if you have some issues, send me a message. I'm upgrading him to inviting you to stage. I used to be nervous about this, but you know what? Just do it, man. Just do it. Inviting you to stage. I will cancel and re-request, Brandon. Hopefully you see that. There you go. There you go, buddy. All right, cool. We're getting there. So you got to turn the video on. It makes you turn on the video. It makes you turn on the video. There it is. There you are, buddy. Hey, cool. Perfect. Right at your time. Right at 8. I mean, man, I'm sorry. 6 a.m. your time, buddy. Bright and early.
Bright and early.
I forget about daylight savings, and with China doesn't follow that, and so I'm actually bringing up Zach Jung. Zach also, he's doing Tai Chi, and he's in our community, so he's interested to just kind of hang out with us on the show. We're also streaming this on Facebook right now and YouTube. And this will, of course, be a podcast and a recorded session, too. But I'm really excited, man. I feel bad, though. I missed my afternoon session today, my meditation session. The midday I've missed. at least one a week I miss, but yeah, Brandon's been coaching me amazing for a few months now. Actually, it's been like 2 or 3 months, I guess. Yeah, and but let's get in. I'm inviting Zach up on the stage. I don't know if he sees it. Zach, if you see an invite, you got to accept it. Hopefully it works. Do you see the invite? I could re-invite you. It's pending, or I could cancel resend. Invite. Okay, so Brandon, yeah, I mean, I can't believe I haven't had you on this podcast before. We even had a mastermind about podcasts before, and we're both content creators, and you're such a generous person with what you do in your community at Modern Mindfulness. We met, I think it was 2000. Hey, Zach, made it. Awesome. And Zach's in London, and Brandon's in Austin, Texas, right? And I'm here
Good to meet you, Brandon.
China. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so yeah, Zach is in Tai Chi, and I invited him to come on. He can also give us some insights and questions for you. But we met in 2014. Actually, I also met Zach about that time too. And you were in Shanghai. You've mostly been in Shanghai. You're going through quite a transition this year, right? You were in the U.S. for Chinese New Year or a holiday, or maybe a little bit of your story, your 2020 story, Brandon, if you want to share.
Yeah, sure. So I was in China in January, so it's almost January again, and the coronavirus pandemic had just started, and I had been living in China for about 10 years, so it was always part of the plan to come back to the U.S., but it wasn't. It just in like one suitcase type of plan, and that's how it ended up. So the border was closing, so I wanted to make sure that me and my wife would get into the U.S. without any problems. So we head on back, and we ended up in Louisiana. Then we realized that Austin, Texas was a bit more dynamic, more progressive. So we ended up moving here. With all of that said and done, we've been here for about 3 months. Like, we kind of like settled here for about 3 months. So it's kind of like a strange transition limbo period, but life has begun again, finally.
Got it. Yeah, I know. I've been following your journey and your videos on WeChat and in your groups. So yeah, I mean, but that's why we need what you're doing. You're doing mindfulness, but I guess today we're a business community, so corporate mindfulness, which is what you're trained in, right? Like, let's talk a little bit about some of your background, your expertise.
Yeah, sure. So when I first arrived in Shanghai, I noticed that they were not offering any kind of mindfulness services or meditation classes in the way that the West portrays it. So we began that as an organization called Shanghai Mindfulness. And I asked myself the question, what is the most professional way to teach this and learn it? And I found that organization, Potential Project. And I worked with them for about 3 years. And they taught me a lot about how to portray this in a corporate aspect, to where mindfulness training is in direct relation to results. And there are many different ways to frame mindfulness and meditation. However, I found that the frame in relation to performance enhancement is most palatable for people. Most of the time, when it comes to meditation, you have obviously the traditional approach and or religious approach. Then you have more of a spiritual aspect to it. And then you have the performance enhancement approach, which are all of these modern applications, these things these days. But it can be like drinking water through a fire hose. So many different options. And with corporate mindfulness training, one of the fundamental teachings that we share is basic mindfulness training or basic mindfulness meditation. has a direct relation to your ability to be attentive to what is now.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that we really link this is that our attention affects our choices affect our actions, and our actions affect our results. Therefore, there's a direct correlation with high attention span and high results. When we're
Yeah, I like
training
that.
in mindfulness meditation, this is increasing our capacity to be attentive to what we would like to be.
Yeah,
Because we're facing so much information all day long. Yeah. So
agreed,
that's the
man.
gist of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I'm going through your program now, and you know, a lot of times people think meditation, or they don't have time. Like even me, like I admit I missed a little bit today. It was just back-to-back calls, and then I got my midday. But I've been doing morning meditation since I learned that from Pat Flynn, Tim Ferriss back in 2013 or 14, and but yeah, you've gotten me into the midday, and I love that because it also just breaks my day up. Like we've had some conversations about the maker and the manager mode, so it kind of just resets my day, and then but yeah, I love the idea, like you just said, the attention, meditation, and the what's that, the monkey mind, like
Mm-hmm.
I think of oh man, how can I forget his name? Anthony Robbins? No.
Could
The
be.
Yeah, Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. Yeah, I
It's
mean,
insane. Yeah.
he says, yeah, I mean, man, I'm blanking on this now. I forgot the name now. I forgot what he was saying, but it's about
There's
just
actually a
focus.
book. Sorry to interrupt. There's a
No,
book
go
called
ahead,
the Chimp. It's a book called The Chimp Paradox, I believe, which basically talks about that. It's about this kind of animal mind that just runs
Yeah, the
wild within
monkey
you.
mind. He's the one. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
you're
'cause
going.
he says we're like primitive, right? Like we've had this 5,000 years brain of like flight or fight. Like we see something and we eat it or we run away from it. Something like that. And even though we're in this new world, we still have that like primitive brain. I think that's what I meant from the Tony Robbins quote. I remember seeing him talk about that.
That's exactly right. And it's so important to give us as a species, as human beings, it's important to give us the benefit of the doubt that our minds are wired for survival and not happiness. It is everything that's going on right now in your body is trying to keep you alive. And when you're looking at mindfulness training, this is something that really is groundbreaking in terms of the neurological research behind it, because we're starting to actually change the way that the brain works, specifically in regards to the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and capacities of emotional regulation and empathy, emotional intelligence, many different aspects of the way that your brain works. And a perfect example of this monkey mind that we always talk about is that when you wake up, for example, I woke up about an hour ago, and when you wake up, you have a hormone called cortisol. It actually releases at a large amount. This is a stress hormone, and one of the repercussions of this release has you searching for food. Another one makes you more alert. Well, that will be really useful 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 20,000 years ago, which our brains are no different from what they are today. And what people are doing when they're waking up in the morning is checking their phone. They're checking their most important task of the day when they have this high amount of stress. And then they're associating this stress with the rest of the day. Let's say you get an email from a key business partner and things aren't working out. All right, now you're taking that stress with you. And when you're not cultivating mindfulness, it's unconscious stress. So your day sucks already, and you don't know why. So it's really, really important to understand this monkey mind before it makes a tool out of us. So we use the tool of mindfulness training so we don't become a tool.
Yeah, I like
I
it. I
love that.
mean, yeah, you've seen my rabbit in some of our sessions, and the rabbit, he sees me going towards him. He's like trying to run away. He's scared, He's like, and I try to give him food, and he sees the food, and he's like not trusting me, and he's looking at the food. He's looking at me. He's like, yeah, this is even the human mind, right? Like, yeah. Zach, do you have something you want to ask, or I could?
Sure. Maybe, I mean, it's great to be able to speak to you today, Brandon. Very excited to speak to him about mindfulness. I don't think there would be anyone talk about mindfulness in e-commerce space. That was quite a surprise. I guess I'm really interested.
Yeah, we mix it up here, man.
I think yeah, it's brilliant. And also, Brandon's got such great aura. It's clear that he's very. He's got hold of his monkey brain.
Sometimes
he's in control. Yeah. So you mentioned that I think with corporates that mindfulness is all about performance improvements, and I think maybe you implied that maybe ROI is important for corporations. I mean, why would they spend the money and resources for their employees to do this? So it'd be interested to hear how you were able to kind of sell on those points, on kind of quantifiable improvements.
Sure. So when we're looking at ROI, some research that Potential Project has done is that it increased focus. The studies that they've done has increased focus by about 42%. And there's simple studies that have been done all around the world where you have a particular program that you're working on, and a particular program that you're using, and it's being monitored. And every single time that you switch a task, this is being monitored. And what the studies are showing is that through mindfulness training, you're having less unconscious task switching. Multitasking is a total myth. The brain is really a one-way route. And every single time you're switching a task, you're actually losing momentum. Now, one of the things that we teach in corporate mindfulness training is, okay, if you're going to switch tasks, that's great, but do it mindfully and do it wholly. So wholeheartedly, when you're switching a task, let's say you're sending a very, very important email, and then you get a call from a customer, and this is something that you're consciously thinking, okay, is right now the best time to take this call? Or am I just reacting, looking for dopamine releases along the way, looking for small wins, so to speak? So this is one of the ways that we measure this in a corporate context, among many, many others. A very tangible way on a long-term study is just seeing that people aren't getting sick as much. They're not burning out as much. Retention rates are increasing because there's less stress. The immune system becomes higher due to the less stress. People are staying on longer. They're not getting burnt out. That's a big, big part of the e-commerce world. And I happen to know a little bit about the e-commerce world because I've been helping one of my buddies. He is actually a student of mine, and he has an Amazon account, Chinese student. And I've noticed, like, wow, this is like, as Mike said, a gladiator arena. This is really tough business. And this guy, he meditates for 20 to 30 minutes a day, but he never turns off. And we need, as entrepreneurs, as people in this gladiatorial, is that the word? Gladiator-based arena, we need a tool to be able to manage the stress skillfully. And we know that physical exercise is there. Fun fact, to go for a jog 80 years ago, that wasn't cool. Like, if you saw me running down the street 80 years ago, you would say, what is he running from? Now, if you see me running down the street, depending on what I'm wearing, you'll say, oh, good job for that guy. If I'm wearing a suit, it might be a different story. So there are many different ways to to measure that and to work on oneself through mindfulness training. And it's not just limited to the corporate aspect either. One of the areas that I do work on as well is with law enforcement and certain government agencies to help them with their mental resilience. So I've done a little bit of work with the FBI and the local governments where I'm from in Louisiana. And it's really important to be present when you're dealing with such high stress situations. And one of the reasons why this is popular is that mental wellness in regards to the e-commerce space, a lot of guys, it's very competitive. It's not cool. It's been taboo, mental wellness. And it's something that people really need to open up, and mindfulness allows us to speak in regards to mental wellness in a performance enhancement frame. It's like, bro, Zach, you're great, man. You're great. You're great. Nothing wrong with you.
You're great too.
Thank you. But by doing mindfulness training, it's going to make you even better. Whereas when you're looking at like a therapeutic approach or a clinical psychological approach, this is, oh, there's something wrong with me. Now I need help. When the mindfulness training frame is more of, we're gonna make you strong while you're already strong. We're gonna make you stronger while you're already strong. So it's a bit more palatable for people.
Yeah,
sounds amazing.
I like it.
Doing amazing things.
Yeah, like I've been going through it. I've been going through it with them for a few months, and that's why I was like, man, you've already helped us with our community in GFA VIP, but we haven't gotten on the show. But another thing I like what you've taught me is you don't try to just get the thoughts out. It's not like something to get rid of. Our brains are just thinking and thinking, but it's more just being aware of all these thoughts. Because meditation, I used to try to somebody else taught me once was like you treat it like a cloud and try to push these thoughts out of your brain. But you said just let them settle. And I hope I'm not revealing too many secrets, but no,
there's no secret to this. There's no secret.
Yeah.
You're right. Everything you said, I would agree with.
But yeah, I mean, that's helped me because I used to think I was doing it wrong because I'm trying to meditate and I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking but you're just saying by being aware that you're overthinking or that you're going, it's true. Like by me just accepting that my brain is thinking about, I need this email and this project and this project supply chain problem in my factory and there's this problem, and just by being aware of that and digesting it and settling it in your brain lets you attack it better after you're done with this thinking, this meditation is what I've noticed.
That's exactly right. And it's important to, with not to get too philosophical, but it's important to realize and understand how this monkey mind works. So is it okay if we do two little experiments? It'll only take about 30 seconds.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. And then if anybody watching live or on recording can follow, right? We can do it if they're listening or watching.
Feel free to join, guys, on Facebook Live and YouTube and every other channel that people are tuning in on. So you guys are all ambitious people. This is e-commerce. We are very driven people. So we like a lot of challenges, right?
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's a little bit of a challenge. To focus on one thought for just 30 seconds. And in order to help you do this, you can just focus on a static image in your mind. Do whatever you want, but just hold that image in your mind for 30 seconds, and we'll see how it goes. Just
closed eyes, close, I guess. Right? Close our eyes.
Up to you. If you want to keep your eyes open, all the more, it's going to be much more difficult. You close your eyes, you'll be able to really hold an image for
I'll
30
close my
seconds.
eyes. Yeah.
Brandon, just to clarify on that, is it any image or is it like a goal or aspiration?
Anything you want. Anything you want, just
Okay.
one thought.
Cool.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. You're gonna time it for us, or
Yeah.
just-
3,
oh, I guess
2, 1. Just think of one thought. Go. All right, time. Okay. So who succeeded?
unfortunately I got nervous. I'm like, oh man, is it 30 seconds yet? Like,
Who failed?
I think I mean, I went back to the thought at least twice, but I did veer off a little bit.
Yeah.
How'd it go for you, Zach?
I think it's okay actually. I don't know how a static image. It's more of I visualized a big oak tree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you practice Tai Chi. This would probably be a lot easier
Yeah.
for
So
you.
I've done meditation on and off for about 6-7 years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
So cool. Now we're gonna do the opposite. You probably done this in childhood, which is always fun to do childhood games. Now I invite you to think of anything you want. It's a thinking buffet. All you can think, all you like. However, God forbid, do not think of this is going to be specifically hard for Mike. Do not think of a white bunny in a black top hat with a monocle, with a black monocle and a cane. You can't think of a white bunny and a black top hat wearing a monocle and a cane. You can think of anything else, but geez, don't think of a white bunny with a huge, crazy black hat and a monocle and a cane. Okay, are the instructions clear?
30 seconds again?
We'll see how long. Okay, so just don't think of this. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Please do not think of a white bunny in a black top hat, white monocle, black monocle, and a black cane. Okay, go. Okay, I'm not gonna even go for 30 seconds. You see how difficult this is, yes?
I think maybe you tricked us.
There's no trick. It's your mind. So your mind 100% has a mind of its own. Just so much, your thoughts have a mind of its own, just so much as your breath is breathing itself. Your ears are hearing themselves. Your eyes are seeing what they see. Your heart is beating itself. This is something that is happening to you right now. And it is very, very random, and it continues on all day long, all night long. And we are under the illusion that we have more control over this thinking mind than we really do. However, here's the good news. What we do have control over and what can be trained is our attention and our awareness. So what we are aware of in here, what we are attentive to in here, are out there in every aspect of our life. And basic mindfulness training helps enhance that. So it's really, really important for everybody to understand, the viewers, is that the mind does have a mind of its own, and this can be trained.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, with me,
Agree.
because I've done mindfulness for a while now, during that little exercise, I was thinking, okay, I'm supposed not to think about X, the rabbit, so I'll just calm down. And then thinking, what am I supposed to do? Not think about the rabbit. Okay, let's not think about the rabbit and calm down. It kept on kind of cycling between me wanting to relax and putting things down and trying to remember what am I supposed to do, which obviously goes against, I mean, it's impossible to do that while thinking it, right? It's, try not to think of something is really...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
mind doesn't work like that, does it?
Well, what I tried to do is I tried to think of the previous session of that session again and just focus on something else. Was what I tried to do.
Okay. Yeah, and it's the same thing that a lot of people in beginning meditation, they struggle with this. They try to clear the mind. And if you try to clear the mind, you're actually going to disturb it all the more. We don't try to clear the mind. We don't try to achieve anything when we're in meditation, which is another huge challenge, is that for ambitious business owners, you're flipping everything that you've ever learned and known on its head. So in meditation, we are to not try. We are to not strive or not try to achieve. And you can imagine how this is great for creativity. So it's actually the process of meditating, the process of training the mind that is beneficial, not the actual outcome of it. Now, that being said, beyond mindfulness training, the outcome is obviously very, very important. The results are important. However, during the training itself, it's about the training, not the outcome. So if we're sitting there trying to not think, or clear the mind, or increase our focus, actually the opposite will happen.
Do you find in your mindfulness training that, sorry, I think I'm getting a bit of, do you find that with your mindful trainings, for example, if you had 10 people, do you find that some of those people just pick it up really quickly? They're able to be mindful and calm down, etc. But maybe just one or two of them just find it exceedingly hard to do it.
Absolutely.
Do you ever? And how do you deal with that kind of the different progression that people makes?
That's a great question. I would say that, first of all, I thoroughly believe, after over 15 years of teaching this and 6 years of doing it full time as a job, that some people are very ready to start this journey of mindfulness training, and some people aren't that ready. They're not that willing and ready, and they're not aware of how much time it actually requires. Just like any other physical training, this requires time. Just like for Tai Chi, you're not going to go and just do one session for 30 minutes and you're like, all right, Tai Chi master. This is not how it works, right? This is something that takes weeks and weeks, and what most of the studies show is that you're going to see a lot of changes, specifically neurological changes, at the 10-week mark.
10 weeks, okay.
And we really let people know that in around 10 weeks of mindfulness training, you're going to start seeing a lot of benefits, specifically when you're hitting the minimum effective dose, or the minimum effective criteria of, let's say, 10 minutes a day for approximately 5 days a week for 10 weeks. Make it simple, 10 minutes a day for 10 weeks, 10-10. That is the minimum. If I go to the gym and just show up and walk on the treadmill for 20 minutes and say, all right, that's it. No, man, it's a lifelong training. It really is. As we develop and face other life situations. Some people have very, very, very active minds. And one of the things, Zach, that I tell them that struggle the most is, if you find mindfulness training easy, this is something that you'll come onto, you'll be a part of, and you'll learn very well. If you find it difficult, you're going to benefit the most. No pain, no gain. If the mind is very, very busy, you are actually receiving the most benefit from mindfulness training. Why? Because those thoughts were always there. You're now just aware of them. The purposeful silence isn't creating more thoughts. It's that you're now aware of the thoughts and that you have a method to start to deal with that. So I let people who are having specific challenges know that, and just come with an open heart, an open mind, and if people have questions, to help, and also from a facilitator's point of view, when people are ready, they're ready, and quite frankly, sometimes people are just not ready to devote that time with themselves, and that's okay, because you are facing, when you turn your attention inward, you're facing reality. That could be tough for many people. You're facing your dreams, your ambitions, your fears, your uncertainties, everything, because this creates that. So I have so much respect for anybody watching, Mike, Zach, for you guys having this conversation. Really, when you practice mindfulness meditation, and many other meditations and Tai Chi, when you're going within, you're facing your own reality. That's one of the reasons why we sit up straight. When we're practicing, we sit in a dignified position of competence and confidence. So you're not going to face reality like this.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, I'm loving the midday ones that you got me into, and it's almost better than taking a nap, right? Like some people say take a power nap, but like a meditation gets me more energy than like a nap, right? Like it kind of refreshes my day, breaks it up, and then a lot of people feel like they don't have time, but it usually makes you more effective. So I'm able to get more done when I'm working and focus on one thing at a time, which is like what you're saying.
And Mike, I know that you're supposed to be interviewing me, but I wanted to ask and
please go ahead, man.
Interview you a little bit. What you told me during our sessions was incredibly valuable for me, the maker and the manager schedule, and not everybody knows that. And I wonder if you could just elaborate just a little bit as to how you use that and how you implement meditation with it, because I think a lot of people could use this.
For sure,
a lot of entrepreneurs out there, a lot of hustlers out there.
Yeah, okay. I'd love to. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a productivity junkie, and I'm trying to always optimize my work. And I read it from a Paul Graham article, and I'll try to remember to put it in the show notes. But basically, the idea is maker versus manager, and like he's talking about it from a startup or a tech venture where there's a tech co-founder and a business co-founder, and the business co-founder is like the manager that does the phone calls, and he does all the different he does all the kind of like talking to people, because talking to people is management and it breaks up your day a lot. But a developer or a programmer they're not social because they got to do like a 2, 3, 4 hour block of work. If somebody does a meeting with them, they breaks up their day, that screws up their flow state, right? But I try to do both. I try to be a maker and a manager. So what I did is I just do my morning as my maker time. So that's where I create a lot of this content, creating all this blog, working with my team, creating out processes, videos. That's my morning. And then I switch to manager mode, which is phone calls, these podcasts, these different sessions, which are like more on and off kind of stuff. And then I didn't do the meditation in the middle of it, but now what I do is I use the midday meditation, like usually before. It's actually become after lunch now. It used to be before lunch, but now after lunch. And I used to get tired in the afternoons. Like I would be in manager mode, but I would get kind of like low energy on these calls, even the sessions. But now I get like a little bit more boost of energy because it helps to, really what meditation does, right? Is it kind of like digests my thoughts and lets me settle my thoughts, so that then I'm like refreshed to go back into the manager mode, with hitting phone calls, hitting my email box, hitting my chats on WeChats and all these group messages and these different things. So that it's really helped me a lot. So I implement this corporate mindfulness that you've been helping me with this Maker Manager, and that combined has made me much more impactful in my day.
That's great, man. It's such a tangible takeaway. I really love that. I didn't know it for so long. I would always take a call at any time during the day. I mean, after my morning meditation session, and then I might have to create some content or this or that, but to really try to compartmentalize it and use mindfulness training as a way to shift the thinking and to shift the mindset. And also from an energy conservation point of view, it allows you to have such higher awareness of where you are putting your energy out, because you only have so much energy throughout the day. You only have so many decisions you can make throughout the day, and then you just start to get exhausted. So, thank you for sharing that.
No, my pleasure, man. Yeah, I mean, it's what it's all about, is helping each other out. So let's talk about some things that you've been doing. So it's modernmindfulness.com, great domain. And so it's Shanghai Mindfulness. And then I don't know if we talked about the transition, but you're going global. You're doing more online. I guess we all have to do online, just like today's session's online. Maybe talk a little bit about the business, what you've been building, where you're at now, like what you're doing.
Yeah, I can talk about the business aspect of it. Happy to. So in the beginning, we were just called Shanghai Mindfulness. We called that because the service simply didn't exist in the largest city in the world. And from a marketing point of view, I asked myself, all right, if somebody wants my service, what are they going to search for? What are they going to do? It's like thing number one, they're going to turn their head and ask the person next to them, hey, do you know, like, I'm not feeling well, or I found that mindfulness can increase my focus, and all these other guys practice mindfulness. I'd like to do it too. Do you know where I could find this? Or they might search online, and hence the name Shanghai Mindfulness. And we had local classes in Shanghai, and we're about to have them again very, very soon. We've met great partners in Beijing, also in Suzhou, right outside of Shanghai, for mindfulness retreats. And we have a really vibrant community of about 3,000 people in Shanghai. Most of them are English-speaking Chinese and expatriates. Mm-hmm. And we're always nourishing these communities and having meetups. And really, when you're in such a hardcore city such as Shanghai, we made this modern mindfulness community for people to be around other like-minded people that have very healthy mindsets that can help one another. Now, moving forward, modern mindfulness is a more international approach. And it's really funny, the way the name came about as well. I'll tell you the marketing point of it, and then the more practical approach of it. I was talking to a really great mindfulness teacher out of Hong Kong, one of the most famous ones in China and Hong Kong, in my opinion. And he looked at me, because I'm like a marketing guy, I've always have been. My dad's in advertising, and that's what I studied too. He looked at me and he said, we're at this restaurant. He said, Brandon, you understand, modern mindfulness is different. People really, they need to be able to put their devices down and just focus on themselves. And I looked at him and I said, what did you just say? I said, yeah. People need to put their devices down and focus on themselves. I said, no, say exactly what you said, just the way you said it. I said, Brandon, modern mindfulness is different. And I looked at him and I said, I have to go to the restroom. And I went to the bathroom and I went on my phone. I'm looking at domain names. I'm like, oh shit, this is available. I need to use this, because I had always been looking for a name or the name. And so I found that one. It's easy to remember. It's quite practical. I believe mindfulness will always be relevant for people. And the second reason why we came towards this name is that in China, there exists no word for mindfulness. There are two that come close, but no cigar. One is Jin Nian. And Chinese speakers, please correct my pronunciation. Jin Nian. And this means correct view or right mindfulness. And this comes directly from Buddhism. That's not what we're teaching here. The second word that comes close is Jin Guan. Jin Guan. And this means to be aware of the mind, aware of thought. However, this is not what Western mindfulness is about. It's being aware of thought non-judgmentally. So we always had this problem whenever we were translating mindfulness into Chinese, and people were like, oh, should we put Jin Yin and Jin Guan? And I just told them, I said, just put mindfulness in English, the actual word of mindfulness. I think we lost Mike. I don't know if he's here. And oh, he's coming back. All right, he's back. So we didn't have,
sorry, man, connection.
No worries.
I'm here.
So we didn't have the word for mindfulness. And what I started telling people is that we're teaching a modern version of an ancient tool. And we're just using mindfulness training. Yes, Buddhism has a strong Zen and Chan. They have a strong emphasis in mindfulness. But also many other traditions, lineages have strong emphasis on mindfulness. For example, another one that I practice is Stoicism. Huge emphasis on mindfulness in the present moment. So this is why the name came about. And where we're at right now is that because of COVID, we had to totally change everything we're doing and the way we do it. So we switched to more of a membership model where we're delivering mindfulness coaching to people. So we're getting them up to speed and helping them practice every single day, where this really lies the challenge with mindfulness training. It's not the actual method, but learning to do this skill every single day. So I spend a large amount of my time coaching people on that and coaching people on the competency of mindfulness meditation. Having put everything online, it has shown a lot of challenges for us, but also I would say that COVID had been a forced innovation. Here in Austin, Texas, we haven't started to release our services yet into the market. Number one being we're still very much so in a pandemic and people are not meeting up. And number two is that I'd say we're at the final phases of piloting our new programs that have been running in China and the eastern part of the world. And I'm really, really just so grateful for the people that have helped me along this journey, along this transition. Just to name a few, Jonathan in New York, and there's so many different. Johnny from Belgium, he's in Shanghai right now. There's so many different people that have helped tremendously, and you guys also are helping as well. So when I'm entering a new market, which I am here in the United States of America, I'm looking not at how can I create or share my brand. I'm never looking at that. I'm looking at how can I solve this problem that my nation and many other nations around the world are under a global mental health crisis. This is a really, really difficult time for many people.
For sure, man.
And I ask myself this question is how do we share mindfulness in a way that's cool, it's relevant for people, that really resonate with people. And just like when we started back in Shanghai, to go a very, very value forward approach. And we have a community number. This is a new little platform here in America where you can actually opt in on a service and you'll get free mindfulness text messages every single day, like little reminders. And from a marketing point of view, it's a really great service because it goes straight to the end user's attention. Whereas on Facebook, you have to shift through the information, WeChat even more so, LinkedIn, but people generally always see a text message. So we're always sending little mindfulness reminders here in the US, and we've been doing this in China for a very, very long time. And also just understanding the market. Currently here in Austin, I see what's being offered. They have mindfulness being portrayed in the therapeutic approach and the spiritual approach, but not the performance enhancement approach. So we really see that as well as a great way to get in the market and start helping people here and also around the United States and around the world as well.
Awesome, man. I'm really happy to see your, I mean, don't really want to talk COVID too much, but I mean, it's forced us all to readjust. I mean, everybody, and it looks like it looks like it's helped you in a positive way. I mean, and as far as business, forcing you to broaden your reach, help more people, especially with you, like you said. I mean, people are under huge pressure right now. Their lives, their family, there's a lot of horrible things happening, and you're able to help them get through that time. So, really, Brandon, this has been amazing, and it's bright and early. And I hope you did your meditation before, but it's so early, so maybe you're doing it after for us today.
After.
So what? I'm afraid to say it, but I think you have some one-on-one sessions or some sessions people could take you up on. I don't want to, we're in November 2020. You're probably gonna be super busy soon, and the way it sounds. But I think you have some. What are some ways people can engage with you and your community, that are interested today?
Yeah, for sure. I thank you for that. So if you guys want to enter into the community and learn more, you can just go to modernmindfulness.com. That's mindfulness spelt the way that it's spelled in English with one L, modernmindfulness.com. And it's very, very simple. You can book a call, and we're here to be of service. We're here to help.
Awesome.
For those that are in China, you can search. We're still on the brand Shanghai Mindfulness in China. Very hard to change a WeChat name. That's another story.
Tell me about it, dude. Yeah, everything in China is a little bit extra hard for.
Yeah, they're like
changing.
But
things.
Anyway, for WeChat, if you just search Modern Mindfulness, we'll pop up. If that doesn't work, you can also search Shanghai Mindfulness. Shanghai Mindfulness on WeChat will pop up, and that's it. It's very, very simple. And yeah, if for those listening out there, if you're interested in mindfulness to help enhance your performance at work or to help enhance just your mental resilience, please feel free to reach out. We're here to help. And I just want to say to everybody out there, and you guys, I have the most respect for you. And yeah, as the late Lao Tzu would say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So we appreciate you.
Great. Thanks so much, Brandon.
Thanks,
and
thank you, guys.
Yeah, really awesome. And then thanks, Zach, for joining us today too. All right.
Thank you for having me. It's been great hearing your story and what you're up to, Brandon.
Thank you, Zach. I hope to talk more in the future.
I know it would the comment earlier about it, we're e-commerce or business podcast, but corporate mindfulness and mental health and keeping a focused mind. It's really also Brandon's been helping me out the last few months, and I really do believe it's helped me with getting more work done, being more effective. Even though he's keeps increasing the amount of time I meditate per day. Twice a day. I do 25 minutes twice a day right now. Like that's 50 minutes a day, almost an hour.
Nice.
And people would say, like, how do you do that and get your work done? I'm actually getting more. I'm doing like humongous. I mean, we built this, even all these all these sessions. We've been building out this whole website of calls. I mean, new projects, new products in our Amazon business. I mean, and it's about, like you said, being more effective with the time that you have. Is what it's about. And then another one, I do these 1-minute videos, and I got to see Gary Vee and in Hong Kong a couple of years ago, and it was asking about sleep. How much sleep do you need? Because I measure my sleep, and he sometimes would say, like, you know, you gotta hustle, 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 sleep when you're dead, or get shit done, or whatever he would say. And then I asked him, and then he says, I think he got a lot of heat for that because I think it does hurt you if you don't sleep enough. So
6 hours, less than 6 hours is really bad for you.
it's really bad for you, man. I think
Even 6 hours is tough, unless you're in your 60s.
Oh, really? It's true. Like those old people in a
Mhm.
park, like in the morning.
People our age,
But-
we need about 7 to 8 hours a night.
Oh, interesting. I thought, but he said to me in person there, and I have it on video even. He's like, it's not about how many hours you get; it's what you do when you're awake. And I thought that would be a good one, maybe to end today's session with, right? Like that's also mindfulness, right? Just sitting in front of a computer, working, counting your hours, like especially if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, it doesn't matter how many hours you're like sitting in front of your computer. It's how effective you are when you're working. Whether if you're dead tired and not focused, you're working 12 hours a day, it doesn't matter if you're able to really be impactful for 7 or 8 hours. That's more valuable. So I hope people can get that. That's what you're doing with your coaching and your training and your community. So thanks again for sharing with ours. And I hope to do more together with you, Brandon. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Thank you, Zach.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, great.
Thanks, guys.
Let's a wrap.
All right. Take care.